it's Dana. Welcome back. We are on day 4 of my holiday card series, and we're going to be playing with some foil today to make a really cool background. And I'm also going to be using the Concord and Ninth Merry and Bright die, as well as 3 different widths of double-sided tape. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have a piece of Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I have the larger of the widths of double-sided tape, and I'm going to create a little bit of a pattern on this paper. So I'm using my scissors and cutting off any excess that I'll just tuck around to the back of the card a little bit later. Now, this is a fun way to add foil to your cards if you do not have a laminator, and it's also a great way to add some glitter to your cards instead of using wet adhesive. So as you can see, I now have 3 stripes across this card panel, and I'm just going to trim off the last bit of that wider tape. And I don't remember the measurements of each piece of this tape, but I will put it in the description box below. Next, I'm coming in with my bone folder, and I'm really burnishing in this double-sided tape so it does not lift off of my card panel. Next, I'll use my nails, and if you don't want to use your nails, you can use a blade or maybe some scissors just to get that release paper off of your double-sided tape. Now, once I have all of this tape down, it's going to be really easy for me to lay down my foil. Again, any excess of the tape, I'm just going to tuck to the back because I can use that a little bit later to my advantage. Once I pull off this last strip and I go ahead and tuck the ends underneath, I can then bring in my foil. Now, this is a very simple way to add foil, and it has a really nice impact on your cards. So I'll place down that panel, and then I'm going to bring in my pink foil. Now, this happens to be the Heidi Swap foil, and I'll lay that down right over my card panel, and then I'll use my fingers just to press in the foil to the double-sided tape. Now, once I get that pressed in, I do want to go in with my bone folder and really get that on there good. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect because I kind of want this to have a little bit of a distressed foil background, but the more that you use a bone folder to really get that foil to stick, the better impression you're going to get. Now, here comes the magic. I can go ahead and start peeling that back. Again, if I'm missing any areas, I can lightly go back over with my bone folder. And I'm going to have this gorgeous little pink or large pink stripes over my card panel. So I can just gently peel the rest of that, getting that last corner. And then now I have a gorgeous little background. All right, now I want to go ahead and peel this up and keep the stripes nice and tight. So I just want to make sure that that tape is secure in the back, which you can see was kind of hard for me to pull up from my mat. But I am going to use my powder bag, just a little bit of it, to make this not as sticky. So every time it's not sticking to my mat so much. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean that up, and I'm going to start with my next color. Now, I went ahead and I sped this up because I'm doing the same exact process. This time, I'm just bumping it up to the first color that I have laid down, which is the pink, and then trimming off a little bit of the excess that is hanging over. Again, I will use my bone folder to burnish in that double-sided tape and then tuck any excess behind the card panel. Now I have an opportunity to come in with this gorgeous purple color, and this one too is from Heidi Swap, and I'll burnish that down as well and then go ahead and peel this back. Now again, I don't need to be perfect on this because I want it to kind of have a weathered look. All right, Now, since we have the purple down, I can go into my final color. Now, this is the smallest of the double-sided tape, and it's going to give me a really nice small line. So I really have a very pretty stripe pattern across this paper with really little effort. I didn't have to worry about lining anything up perfectly. I didn't have to worry about stamping. Now, the last part I'm going to come in, this is Deco foil. Now, I will say, in my opinion, I think the Deco foil works a little bit better than the Heidi Swap foil. But again, you can use either one of them. I'm going to go ahead and press that down. And this is when I realize I don't see the lines coming through. And lo and behold, I had two pieces down. So I just had to remove the top one, and now you can really start seeing those very thin lines of silver. I'll come back in one last time and burnish that in with my bone folder, just making sure that I get right along those thin lines that I made. And then I can go ahead and pull off this silver piece, and we'll have a really gorgeous background. So I'll gently pull that off, and there we go. Now I have a nice striped background that I didn't have to worry about inking up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set this aside, and I'm going to start working on my sentiment. So I have some glitter paper and that very large die from Concord and Ninth. Absolutely love the font on this, and this is going to help me keep the color combination going. So I'm going to cut that down and then run it through my die cut machine. And now I have it done, and it looks so sparkly and pretty. Now I did die cut it again in some purple fun foam because I do want this to stand up a little bit higher off of my card. And I also wanted to have a fun peak of the purple behind the pink. I'm using my Gina Connect glue to go ahead and place these pieces together. Now I'm just adding a dot of glue all the way around this sentiment, just being a little bit careful to get in a lot of the groove parts. And then I can use my tweezers and pick that up to place it down onto the purple die cut. Now, using wet adhesive is going to allow me the opportunity to go ahead and get this lined up, and it gives me some wiggle room to do that. Now, I'm not going to be over particular about this because I do want that purple to peek out behind that pink. So I'm just being very careful to try my best to line everything up. All right, once it's all lined up, look how gorgeous it looks. It gives me that very nice pop of purple right behind that pink. Now, when I brought it to the card, I'm like, I'm not liking that too much. I need something to blur out those lines. So I went ahead and grabbed a piece of vellum. And now putting the vellum over the foil allowed my sentiment to stand out a little bit more than what it would have behind without having it on there. So that to me looks a little bit better. I love that look. Now I just need to go ahead and trim down this piece right here. And now since I do have some of that stickiness left from the tape, I can flip over my card panel and I can gently fold the vellum right around and do a nice crease without having to worry about how am I going to stick the vellum down onto the front of this. I'm going to gently, again, fold down the other side. And because that adhesive is still a little bit tacky, that's going to fit perfectly. Now I'm going to have a nice card panel for my sentiment to sit on. Now I do want to trim this down just a little bit. So I have my X-Acto knife here, and I'm just trimming off any excess of that vellum that I had left over. So just very carefully using that on my craft mat just to trim off just a little bit that's hanging over. All right, now since I have all that done, we can really start building up the card here. I'm using that Gina Connect glue again, right along the back of this sentiment so I can adhere this to that vellum piece. Now this doesn't take very long to do. And once I have it done, I can go ahead and place this right onto the top of that beautiful card panel. All right, I'm just going to pick this up ever so gently and place that down onto the front of my card. And look how beautiful that looks. Really adding that vellum gave me the opportunity to see everything perfectly. All right, now since that's done, I'm going to go ahead and place this onto a Neenah Solar White 110-pound card base. I'll use my ATG gun, which is my go-to normally for all of my card making. And I can reinforce that vellum to stick down with this adhesive. Now I can just flip that over and place this down onto my card base. And look how simple and beautiful this card was. Again, you can use it in any color you want. All right, I pressed that down into place. And now I just want to add a few silver sequins just to pull out some of that silver that happens to be in the stripes below. And now I've married up all of my colors on this card, and it's a very festive colors indeed. All right, I'll just press the rest of those down, not adding too many. Just want a few to finish off this card. And there we go. The card is all done and it looks absolutely fabulous. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you on day 5 soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.